Without the pandemic, today would be September 18th, but instead, it's March 202nd. What's up everyone, Andy here. Ever since a certain disease has spread around the world, life's been a bit different. To keep everyone safe, we can't do a lot of the things that we used to, and the way we live life has fundamentally changed. I can guarantee that no one's 2020 went as planned. And for me personally, it's pretty much been entirely surprises. Let's go back from March when lockdown started to see what my life would have been like. It's March. I'm about halfway through my last semester of university. The choir I'm in is getting ready for a trip to Washington, D.C. It's all paid for, everything is planned. Nothing could go wrong. So, all classes moved online. That choir trip, canceled. Choir rehearsals, canceled. And the online class routine, it lasted from then through graduation. So let's move to May. In May, I would have graduated, I would have gone to the ceremony, I would have walked, and I would have directly gone to FanimeCon immediately after, because they're the same weekend. Instead, somehow I had a better graduation ceremony. I dressed up in my brother's robes because I didn't want to spend money buying my own, and instead of having a school ceremony, I had family and neighbors come out to social distance while I walked around the street while we blasted Pomp and Circumstance. It only took 15 minutes and I didn't even need to go anywhere. I'm not crazy into ceremonies or anything like that to begin with, so this was a nice change. After graduation came the summertime. And to start that, we need a little bit of context. In February, I interviewed for a position teaching English in Japan with the JET program. I got the job offer and I accepted the position. It was supposed to start in September, actually September 12th. As you can see, I'm still in America. But my plan was to have a fun summer and then fly out to Japan after the summer ended. But since I had a job starting in September, my plan was to travel, make videos, and just have a really fun, relaxing, social summer. And clearly most of that did not happen. I still went on one trip, but most of those plans did not happen. I didn't purchase any flights or anything like that, since as I was planning it, the pandemic was only just starting. I naively thought,
maybe it'll get better.
But clearly, that did not happen. In July, I had 3 trips planned. Driving to Yosemite with family, flying to Chicago for Versus Expo, and flying to South Korea as a graduation trip with one of my friends. While you may think that all of those would be canceled, one did happen. I would never, ever go on a flight unless I absolutely had to during a pandemic, so the one that did happen was Yosemite. The park reopened at half capacity, and if someone canceled a booking, they weren't going to refill it. So we had a safe, socially distanced time in nature, and I needed that so much. I had been in the house for so long, just like everyone else, but oh my god. It was 1, really nice getting away, and 2, it was really nice experiencing Yosemite with like hardly any people in it. It was a really cool, quiet, relaxing trip. I still have a lot of footage that I'm going through from that, so stay tuned. Cool, I'm in focus. We're trying the Half Dome beer at Yosemite Lodge. Tastes like the glaciers. So, Versus Expo in Chicago was canceled, and American passports became more or less useless because of all international travel bans. I wouldn't ride a plane anyway during a pandemic, but that's just how the cookie crumbled for those 2 particular trips. That sums up the travel that I would have done. Let's discuss employment. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I currently work with Aver Media. Let's rewind to see how I got to this point. Just a little posture adjust. When I accepted the position with Jet, it was in the middle of the pandemic, like in April or May, somewhere around there. And what I figured was, even if circumstances won't be ideal, this is job security, and I should probably hold on to this, since jobs will be probably impossible to find during the pandemic. And besides, the world will probably be back to normal by the time I fly out on September 12th. It wasn't. So as the weeks and months passed by and uncertainty increased, I realized I should probably look for other work, just in case Jet fell through. And in any case, if the program continued as planned, I would not feel safe working in a classroom in the middle of a pandemic, or any traveling for that matter. So I applied for a few jobs a week, not hearing back from over 90% of them, and eventually I hear back from AverMedia. We went through a few interviews and I was offered the position. Ultimately, I withdrew from the JET program and accepted the position with AverMedia to be a marketing specialist. If it weren't for the pandemic, I wouldn't have even been looking for other jobs in the first place, so there is a slight silver lining to it. And if it weren't for the pandemic, I would literally be in Japan right now, getting ready to work for JET. Don't get me wrong, the JET program is an amazing opportunity for intercultural experience and sort of having a year to discover yourself by living abroad, but the circumstances in the world said otherwise for me. I am so thankful that I found the job with AverMedia. Given the circumstances in the world, I consider myself extremely lucky. Like, I'm not going to go into detail, but it's sort of like I was made for the job description or the job description was made for me. So moving forward in terms of future things, the only definite travel that I had planned, if the world were to return to normal by the end of this year, would have been to go to MagFest in Maryland in 2021, January. But MagFest has already officially canceled that event, and even though my band Okabanda might have been performing, it's definitely for the best that they canceled the in-person activities just to be safe. Because who knows when it'll be safe enough to have a new normal. It's a weird, totally abnormal, and difficult time that we're living in. Our lives definitely have not gone as planned for the last 6 or 7 months, and they're gonna stay different for the foreseeable future. We're all missing out on friends, travel, and simply having a normal world. As frustrating as it is to shelter in place and social distance, we need to do it to keep everyone safe. So, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and put on a frickin' mask.